Well, a very happy 2022, and welcome back to another year of No Pants Profits. My name is Richard. I'm still sitting here wearing no pants, and this is January 4th. January 3rd was my biggest profit day ever, and it actually kind of inspired this video. I've been working on this video for a while in my head, but I did just come back from the Caribbean. Instead of going to Tommy Bahama, I got Tommy in the Bahamas shirt. Just a little bit cheaper, $5 versus $150 for a shirt. That's how you keep your profits. But today we're going to talk about something quite interesting. I have my coffee. I never drink coffee, but I got to go a little slow showing my coffee because what I've got right here is actually energy. And it's very much related to what we're going to be talking about today, but this is actually power. Look, ma, no wires, no battery, nothing like that. Just pure, unadulterated power. And that's where this all gets very interesting. So let's go ahead and let's get into talking about what happened in the market yesterday, which was Monday, January 3rd, 2021, as well as why I have a coffee cup that's mysteriously turning a wheel and how that relates to everything. So I want to go ahead and I want to open up my profit and loss statement for the year so far, which is my profit and loss statement for the day so far in stocks. And I just want to talk about it and we'll see. So if we take a look, let's go ahead, let's jump on my iPhone. This is my realized profit and loss so far. It is January 4th, 2022. This is just from January 3rd, 2022, and you'll see there's some nice gains right there. That's important. These are realized gains, and you'll see my two largest realized gains are Tesla and Ford. Now, what do those two have in common? Well, they're both going as a speeding bullet towards electric cars, electric trucks, electric vans, electric semis, electric everything. Electric is big. Electric is in. And like I said, I did actually have my absolute greatest day ever in stocks today, and I'll show you. Because I think it's kind of interesting to see how big these guys have actually gotten. This is mainly all in Tesla shares. $71,500 today in gains on Tesla. But what you've got is you've got this locomotion that's happening in electric vehicles and in electric everything. But there's a problem. There's a critical mass that no one wants to talk about. And I think there's a huge opportunity to make money in the industry, not with these car dealers. I mean, look, I'm not selling Tesla stock anytime soon, but to make money in the thing that's lacking here, and that's really what I want to talk about. But if we take a look at our Tesla stock, you can see it's nearing new all-time highs. Ooh, let me move myself down. We can see that Tesla's nearing new all-time highs. Ford is heading back towards its all-time highs, but here's where things start to get a little bit interesting. And this was an article from the New York Times. It's been in my head for a while, but this came out at the end of 2021. And this is the problem we're going to tackle today. Electric cars are coming fast. Is the nation's grid up to it? Now, full disclosure, I do drive an electric car. Other full disclosure, it's not a Tesla. I think that's kind of interesting. I drive an electric car. It's not a Tesla. I'll actually show you a picture of my electric car. You'll go, haha, it met its long-lost brother. And just so you can kind of see, I'll show you its long-lost brother, but you'll see our energy generation machine is still running beautifully. We'll talk about exactly how it works in a little bit, because that's important. But what you'll see is, you'll see my car met its brethren the other day. You see two smart cars in the wild. Yes, big boy with Hawaiian shirts and no pants. Drives a tiny little car. Now, why do I drive the tiny little car? Well, because I was between a lease. When I needed a car, I couldn't lease a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y, so I actually had a Lincoln. So that is Ford, if any of you know. And I was between a lease, and I said, I need a little car to get me until I can order my F-150 electric, which should be any day right now. So I got a tiny little smart car. I call him Buzz Lightyear. But back to the initial discussion. Let's go where we were. Electric cars are coming fast. Is the nation's grid up to it? GM's decision this week to phase out all gasoline vehicles is the latest major shift that will mean dramatic demands on electric utilities. Here are 4 things that will need to happen. Again, all these articles, everything will be linked below. We're going to skim this. The major automakers are increasingly betting that millions of new cars and trucks over the next decade will be plugged into electrical outlets, not fueled up by gas stations. That raises the question, is the nation's power grid ready to handle the surge of new electric vehicles? Plus, these electric vehicles are green, and the question is, can we use green power? Can we use solar? Can we use wind to actually power these? You know, as weird as it sounds, the sun goes down at night, and guess what? Guess what people are doing at night? They're charging their cars at night. So if the sun goes down at night and they're charging their cars at night, hey-oh, there's a problem. You know, today fewer than 1% of cars on America, and this is January 29, 2021, so this is rather recent, less than a week old, about a week old. Today, fewer than 1% of cars on American roads are electric, but a seismic shift is underway. General Motors said it aims to stop selling gasoline cars by 2035. So, you know, they'll still be on the road. You know, you see some clunkers around the road nowadays from the 67, I mean, the 60s and 70s are more vintage, but these 80s and 90s cars. You know, automakers like Tesla, Ford, and Volkswagen plan to introduce dozens of new electric models in the years ahead. Build more places to plug in. So that's important. It's like down here, I'm in South Florida. ChargePoint is all over. I used to be a ChargePoint shareholder. They're just not making money. I will get back into ChargePoint eventually, but ChargePoint is all over. And you know, everywhere I go to shop, everywhere I go to drink, I can plug the car in for a few hours. I come back to a nice full car. And what's nice is most of the ChargePoint stations around me and a lot of the state of Florida are actually paid for free by FPL, Florida Power and Light, which is our New Era Energy, is actually the name of the company that owns FPL. So, you know, building more places to plug in. Yeah, you can plug in at home, but when you go out and about, you could top up at the grocery store, my local grocery store, Publix, which Publix is the stock that I would love to invest in, that I can't. I know some of you might be Publix employees. I have a friend who's been at Publix for about 15 years and has over $1 million in Publix stock right now. So, private stock. More places to plug in. Agree, we don't need to read everything. That makes pretty good sense. Generate more juice. This is where we're going to focus on today. Is look, we're still generating juice from this imaginary cup. There are no wires connected, nothing connected. Where does that juice come from? It is not a perpetual energy machine. Those are a scam. You know, we'll likely need to build a lot of new. Oh, look at this. If every American switched over to an electric passenger vehicle, analysts have estimated that the United States could end up using roughly 25% more electricity than it does today. To handle that, utilities will likely need to build a lot of new power plants and upgrade their transmission networks. There's no question they can do it, but it's not going to be easy. Again, you can read this whole article. Juggle those charging times. Hey, look. Everybody can't charge at the same time, and you got people that are charging in the day, people that are charging in the night. You could charge at work, you know. You could charge if you're at work. Yeah, you can use solar panels when you're charging because most people work during the day. But at night, you're going to have huge grid demand. If you know anything about how electricity works in the United States, as of right now, January 2022, electricity at night is cheaper than electricity during the day because not many people are using electricity at night. But when everybody has an electric vehicle, well, that's going to change. So you have to kind of, right now, you're not using as much electric at night as during the day, but when everybody has an EV, who knows? Oh, look! And design a cleaner grid. This article goes right into what I want to talk about. Transportation now accounts for 1/3 of the greenhouse gas emissions each year. So we're talking about green, 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 green. There's room for improvement. They'd be even cleaner if utilities switched away from coal and natural gas and lean more. Okay. Oh, look. Interesting. It's kind of where we're headed. But there's room for improvement. Electric vehicles will be even cleaner if utilities switched away from coal and natural gas and lean more heavily on low-emission sources like solar, wind. We're not going there. The sun goes down at night, the wind doesn't blow. But you know what always keeps on going? You know what always keeps on going is good old Mr. Nuclear. People are afraid of the concept of nuclear energy, and that's what I want to talk to you today about. Some investing in the nuclear energy space, and it covers both transmission, meaning, you know, power lines that can get you there, and the power generation itself. And believe it or not, what you're looking at right here is actually essentially a nuclear generator. Well, we could say. Essentially what I have is in this coffee cup, I've got hot water. That's a heat source. And right here, I've got an engine that sits on top of the hot water. And if I zoom in, all that's happening is The temperature differential between the top plate and the bottom plate right there are driving that, which would then drive, well, I'm holding a little weird, which would then drive an electric generator. And that's it. And the thing is, most energy generation in the world is just about, it seems stupid. It seems weird that I'd say this, and it doesn't like to move, so I'm going to put it down here. But most energy generation in the world is just about heating water. That's all it is. If you got a nuclear power plant, you can actually just take in, let me see what I have sitting on my desk here. You know, let's say that this is a nuclear fuel rod, and I've got some cold water. I just take this nuclear fuel rod, dip it in the cold water, it makes it hot water, and then what does it do? Well, it spins that little engine, and that little engine spins a turbine, which essentially makes power. Passive solar energy works the same way. A lot of you might be used to seeing, like, say, an actual solar panel. So let's just, you know, a lot of you are probably used to seeing solar panels. But how solar power is really made at scale is not with these solar panels, it's with things like this. Let's see if that's an ad. Okay, yeah. So solar powers are made at scale in this way. What you'll see is those are actually not solar panels right there. That is a bunch of mirrors reflecting on that black tower. Let me make my mouse real big and show you see the black tower right in the middle. And all that black tower is, believe it or not, is a giant cup of water. And you harness the electrical energy from that cup of water. And again, it's all about the heat differential. So that's the important thing. If it's too hot outside, what can you do? I got some ice right here. I could take that ball of ice, put that on the top, and then we can get a differing heat differential, and it'll actually work a little bit better because the difference in temperature is slightly different. Now, there's a lot of different ways to generate heat, to generate electricity with water, but that's just one. It's just, you see that energy difference is driving it a little bit more. I'll put that away. We'll stop with the prop science right now. I'm not Carrot Top. But, you know, when we're talking about this, it gets very interesting. So solar is great, but there's not a lot of places more that we can put solar. You know, active, passive solar. Yes, there's the theory of being able to put solar on roofs and things like that all over. And a perfect example, I mean, let me actually open up an article that I looked at earlier today. I send articles around to people. Whoa. I send articles around to people all the time. Let's see. GAF Solar. Look at this. So this is something earlier. GAF, which is the largest roofing provider in the world, just made solar shingles earlier today. They just released them. It's a lot more scalable than the Tesla solar roof. So this is an interesting one for home use. But here's the thing. When you're talking about the grid and you're talking about scaling the grid, and you're talking about scaling the grid with green power, which I have to be very specific. When I say green power, I am talking about power that does not pollute at the power generation source. Very, very, very important. So solar is not green. It is green power. Wind is green power. Now, it takes a lot of energy to make a solar panel. So you are polluting when you make the panel. Tesla cars, some people say that electric cars actually pollute more than gas cars because the components inside of that electric car, they use a lot of energy. They use a lot of resources to make the battery, to make the engines, to make everything like the motors, not engines, to make the motors, you know, the wind turbines and everything like that. So I want to be very clear. The European Union, which is pretty much everything over in Europe other than the UK, has proposed a green label for nuclear power and natural gas. I don't agree with the natural gas, but nuclear is what I want to focus on today. And it's actually kind of funny because the one company we're going to talk about is actually based out of one of the companies we're going to talk about is actually based out of the UK. So they're not part of the EU, but EU proposes and this is all brand new. This is in the last 4 or 5 days. EU to propose, oh, actually, no. Yeah, this is in the last 4 or 5 days. EU to propose green label for nuclear power. The European Union may classify nuclear power and some forms of natural gas as green activity, which could allow it to be regarded as a sustainable investment. Countries including France and governments in Southeastern Europe have pushed their own energy sources to provide a bulk of power generation included. This is where I want to go, is that nuclear power, and specifically a company I'm going to talk about in a minute, nuclear power is going to be our green future for a little bit. even in the US. I know it sounds weird. I know people are like, oh no, 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, or Chernobyl. You know, someone actually, let me see if I can grab this picture up, because this was a little ridiculous. But believe it or not, the other day, I actually came across a Facebook ad that was offering me a very interesting experience, which was, well, those are my Tesla shares. Let's see if I can get this interesting experience up. That you can actually tour. This is kind of mind-blowing. It was an ad to tour the nuclear reactor. Yeah, I'll put it right there. Yes, it was an ad to tour Chernobyl. I guess, if you want to tour Chernobyl, go ahead and tour Chernobyl. But it was an ad to actually tour Chernobyl. But you'll see, you know, they're trying to make these things a lot more, per se, green. I think that's the important thing. So let's talk about how nuclear is already in the U.S. I know that we have an audience outside the U.S., specifically in Brazil. Got a lot of people in Brazil because we've got a lot of new subscribers with new energy, but not new energy, new bank. Sorry, energy's on the brain. So if you look in the U.S. right now, there are 93 commercial reactors for nuclear energy in the U.S. with a net capacity of 95.5 gigawatts, and they're all these reactors. Again, are using something as simple as water. You have, I mean, it's a little more complex than this, but you just drop the nuclear rods right in that cup of water, and you harness the energy right there. I've not done anything there. It's just continuing to move right there. And, you know, some people will call it witchcraft. Some would call it perpetual energy machine. But, you know, that's the idea there. You know, you've got all this. There's been a lot about, you know, reactor research, and they talk about Fukushima, and they talk about Three Mile Island, Fukushima, and you know, these big nuclear things. But I will tell you, I actually live in the same county as a nuclear reactor, and that nuclear reactor is what gets me super cheap energy here. Down in South Florida, we only pay 12 cents a kilowatt hour off peak. You know, off peak, we will pay 12 cents a kilowatt hour for energy. And that's because of this one thing that we've got right down here, which provides most of the power for the state of Florida, called Turkey Point. The Turkey Point Nuclear Generating Station. You know, you've got 3 power generating units, and you can see they make a lot of power there. So they make 2,754 megawatts, and you'll see they got 95. So, you know, we make down in Florida, we make about 2 to 3% of the nation's nuclear energy comes from that one plant, Turkey Point, down in Florida. It's in Homestead, Florida. But people get up in arms about nuclear. Look, you can't scale solar. Solar's only about 20% efficient. I mean, if you take a look right here, I'll show you. You know, if we look right here, this was, again, I was reading this article earlier today. The article will be linked below. It's a great read. But let me see where I can find that. So look at this. For one thing, they say that the cells they're using are 22.6% efficient. Within a few percent of the state-of-the-art solar panels, and the greater number of shingles means the system's total power doesn't degrade as much when some of them get shaded. So how solar works is a part of your panel gets shaded. This is all actually solar gear back here. I have a whole bunch of panels on the roof that run all my mining rigs right behind me, and you can actually see there's a whole stack of batteries. So I deal in solar a lot, and I'd love to have a nuclear power generator at home, but you know, that's just Mr. Fusion from that's just Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future. That's all a nuclear power generator is. And if you start looking up how to make a nuclear power generator at home, that's how you get on a terrorist watch list. Don't look up how to make a nuclear power generator at home if you like to fly easily, you like to come in and out of the US easily. So, the problem is everybody goes, I don't want nuclear power in my backyard. You know, but then energy costs are going to skyrocket. Gas by June of 2022, it is very possible that gas is $5 a gallon. But if you have an electric car, you know, yeah, the price is going to go up a bit because the materials to make it. But I'm happy to have Turkey Point because, you know, nuclear fuel is not actually going up that much. Now, there is a discussion of what goes on with nuclear fuel after, and we will address that later on. But how do you take nuclear and scale it up and make more? And the most important thing, I want to go back to that first article we started with. design a cleaner grid. We understand that. If we go ahead and juggle those charging times, we understand that. Generate more juice, we understand that. But the big thing they talk about is power transmission. You've got to have the power transmission proper. So you've got to have it a distributed, designing a grid, having cleaner power, but power transmission is very important. What that means is you can make all the clean green energy in the world you want. You can take somewhere like, I'm sorry if anybody's from there, but you can take somewhere like North Dakota and you can put 20 nuclear reactors in North Dakota. I'm just saying a state that's not super populated, or Montana. Sorry. If you like to ski, I'm sorry. But you can take somewhere like that. You can put all the nuclear power you want up there. You can build lines all over the country. And hey, look, you got nuclear power, But the thing is, transmitting the power is actually very difficult as well. So what if there was a solution that's sitting and staring us in the face? Imagine there was a solution that would make nuclear power. My coffee is finally not hot enough anymore, so it's not doing it anymore, but a solution that would make nuclear power and allow me to transmit that nuclear power over a shorter, or not me, or allow anybody to transmit that nuclear power over shorter distances. Something has been coming across what I've been seeing recently. Something's been coming across a lot of articles and a lot of stuff. And it's a company you've heard of before. And they're mainly known for making this. Let me show you what they're mainly known for making. And you'll go, They're mainly known for making airplane engines. You might go, They're also known for expensive cars. Rolls-Royce. I'm sure you've all heard of Rolls-Royce before. It is a British company based out of the UK, and they are doing something that I find pretty revolutionary. And they are able to be traded on the American Stock Exchange. And it's one of the few tax loss harvestings that I had and I did not take last year. So if I look, we're looking at Rolls-Royce, the small modular reactors, pioneering intelligent power. So we've laid out the problem. We've seen, what the solution is right now with these power plants that are big and you have to transmit it a long way. Our world needs more low-carbon power than ever. Rolls-Royce SMR, small modular reactors, develop affordable power plant that generates electricity using small modular reactor, an intelligent way to meet our future energy needs. So I want to go ahead and I want to look over small nuclear reactors. We're going to take a look at what Rolls-Royce is doing with small nuclear reactors, take a look at some of their financials and other things like that. And then we're going to also take a look at some other companies in the nuclear space. But honestly, this is one I really like and I'm really focusing in. Yes, I know people hate nuclear power, but they're stupid. I'm sorry. If you hate nuclear power, you're a moron. Nuclear is safe. Nuclear is very safe. In the end of the day, with things that are making emissions, because look, you can't solve this problem with solar panels and wind farms. You have to use something that's non-renewable, and this is the safest of the non-renewables out there. So the small modular reactor program is one of the ways that Rolls-Royce is meeting the need to ensure the UK continues to do it. Now, this is focused to the UK. The UK continues to develop innovative ways to tackle the global threat of climate change. With the small nuclear reactor, they developed a clean energy solution which can deliver cost-competitive and scalable net zero power for multiple applications, from grid to industrial electricity production to hydrogen and synthetic fuel manufacturing. Again, a lot of people say, hydrogen's the future, but guess what? You still need power to split water into oxygen and hydrogen. So hydrogen needs another power source, so that's not crazy. Rolls-Royce SMR is using proven nuclear technology, coupled with a unique factory-made module and manufacturing on-site assembly to harness decades of British engineering and design and manufacturing know-how. They build it in a factory and they transport to the site, and they consider it a clean energy solution. So it will take a power station, will occupy the footprint of 2 football pitches. That's the UK equivalent of a football field, I would assume, and power approximately 1 million homes. Imagine you could power 1 million homes in the size of 2 football fields, which is kind of crazy. Enabling the decarbonization of industrial processes. As a major shareholder in Rolls-Royce SMR, will continue to support. So that's the idea. Find out more. So Rolls-Royce owns a large section of the Rolls-Royce SMR, or the small modular reactors. Low-cost, deliverable, investable, global and scalable. Affordable, clean energy for all. You know what? Let's see if we've got some video here. I always like to listen to some video if we got it. Yeah, we do.
The UK target for net zero carbon emissions by 2050 is ambitious. To achieve this, we need more clean electricity to power a future that enables us to develop, to grow, to prosper. Our target to decarbonise cannot be met by intermittent renewables alone. The challenge is on us all. We must act now. At Rolls-Royce SMR, we have the answer. The Rolls-Royce SMR is a low-cost, clean energy solution. Made in the UK for industrial, utility and energy customers. A factory-built nuclear power plant, transported to site as modules and assembled in a specially designed on-site factory, radically reducing construction activity, creating a fully integrated nuclear power plant, and an architecturally beautiful structure. The Rolls-Royce SMR is scalable, versatile and innovative. It can be deployed across a variety of applications, creating new opportunities to meet a range of clean energy needs. Capable of operating at availability levels of 95%, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 60 years. A twin SMR can also provide 100% availability of clean electricity for customers who need an always-on solution. This unique N+1 configuration not only ensures access to clean energy all day, every day, but will also produce large volumes of surplus clean power, which can be used for other off-grid solutions, such as hydrogen production, synthetic aviation fuels, and desalination. The Rolls-Royce SMR uses proven and commercially available products, allowing it to deliver a competitive, low-cost solution, creating delivery certainty, reducing risk, and building investor confidence, and creating jobs. Lots of jobs, all with massive export potential. The challenge is on us all. We must act now for all our futures. We are Rolls-Royce SMR. Our SMR is powering a clean energy future. We are pioneering the power that matters.
Okay. Nice little glitzy video there. Rolls-Royce SMR is designed, our clear vision, everything like that. And this is the company that's built airplane engines forever. So you know it's kind of interesting. They actually signed a contract with Sheffield. So that's a UK town that they've signed that contract with. Oh, look at this. So they've got the business. They've got the orders. Here's a little brochure. Let's just skim through it. It's 12 pages. And again, I'm going to link this all below. You know, small modular reactors. Small modular reactors are a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the UK, maybe the US, maybe Canada, maybe everywhere else as well. You know, they're gonna position it for the UK. But essentially, it is a consortium led by Rolls-Royce to deliver energy security jobs. You saw the video. Ta-da! So small. The idea is it kind of looks like a piece of art. You know, it can be transported on a truck, a train, or even a barge. Appeal to UK commercial or international utility companies or power station operators. And the important thing is these are small, so you can put them much closer to where the energy is needed. So transmission becomes less of a problem. You know, that's be up and running by 2028, maximizing the UK's first user advantage in the race for exports. So it takes just 5 years to start the construction, generation of the first energy facility, but they can provide a lot of power, 220 megawatts to 440 megawatts of power, depending on the configurations. That is the equivalent of up to 150 offshore wind turbines. You know, they can represent the lowest risk using proven technology. Again, marketing speak, I know. Peak benefit, 40,000 UK jobs will be created to do this. Rolls-Royce, largest engineering collaborations. And you can see that they've got business already all over. They have business in all the other countries, regional offices, bringing together Britain's best brains. Talking about all the universities and everything like that. But it's interesting because it's small, it's modular, it's kind of like the tiny home of nuclear power, if you will. And Rolls-Royce is not just doing this. So massive global export potential for UK SMR. The potential goes far beyond the direct benefits in terms of job. So the size of potential is approximately 65 to 85 gigawatt hours by 2035, valued at $250 billion to $400 billion. You could take a look at what's needed worldwide, and it's kind of really crazy. I'm going to leave it on that page. That's the amount of megawatts that are needed in supplemental to what's already has. And let's see. And it supports the right market conditions. You know, they're showing the grid for a reason, because this helps to kind of lower the burden on the grid. And Rolls-Royce, let me just see. Rolls-Royce is committed to investing and taking lead in the consortium, stands ready to be the lead reactor technology, comprised of partners covering primary design. So the best way to invest in this is via Rolls-Royce stock. It's not all Rolls-Royce, but Rolls-Royce is actually doing kind of other interesting things as well. Again, what's happening is the reason Rolls-Royce has fallen a lot recently, if you do take a look at the stock, and we will take a look at the stock, we can look at the Morningstar reports. I do longer videos because I want to give you the full picture on everything that's going on. I've done quite a bit of research into this before I started, because normally we'll go something cold like an S1 or something like that, but I wanted to be able to talk to this. So I'll tell you why Rolls-Royce stock has taken a poo-poo lately, is because they've got their main business is still how they make the cheddar is in commercial aviation. It's in those big engines for airplanes. I mean, this is the primary way that they make money, as on these guys. And, you know, companies are keeping their airplanes longer or using different engines that are not from Rolls-Royce. We'll take a look at that in a minute, but, you know, that's where it gets kind of interesting. But what Rolls-Royce has done is this same company that's building this nuclear power stuff has actually made the world's fastest all-electric vehicle. They've actually made a plane that can go 345 miles an hour, fully electric. That's faster than any Tesla. That's faster than any Rivian. That's faster than any Lucid. That's faster than any electric race car. That's faster than anything that's been made electric minus the electric trains. But those have the power overhead, so they don't really count. You know, Rolls-Royce claimed the world's fastest all-electric aircraft, setting 3 new world records. The data's been submitted to the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. Let me make it a little bigger. Showing the Spirit of Innovation aircraft, which is kind of funny, because if you know anything about the Spirit of, you get the Spirit of St. Louis, and there's other ones that have set aircraft records. I'm pretty sure they named it after American airplanes. You know, Spirit of Innovation reached a top speed of 345 miles over 3 kilometers, smashing the existing record by 132 miles an hour, which again is probably from a Tesla. Probably from a Tesla, I'm gonna say. You know, and that's amazing. You know, they broke to climb 300 meters by 60 seconds, time of 3 minutes and 22 seconds. So the world's fastest all-electric vehicle. So Rolls-Royce is in the electric game too. They're not competing with Tesla directly, but I think that's kind of an interesting thing to think, because, you know, and if you take a look, here's the honest thing. This is, I know at this channel, we like to look at financial information. If you're looking at this is bloody as hell. Okay, no lie. This financial information is beyond bloody as hell. It's red. It's not it's not very green, and that's because the airplane business has kind of started falling. Cash flow and other things like that. This is what Rolls-Royce does, is civil aerospace, defense, these other things like civil aerospace is a major manufacturer of aero engines for large, so these are their divisions. Civil aerospace is a major manufacturing of aero engines, let me make this bigger, for large commercial aircraft, regional jet, and business aviation. This business uses engineering expertise, in-depth knowledge, and capabilities to provide thorough support to customers. Power Systems is a leading provider of high-speed reciprocating engines and complete propulsion power generation systems. You know, I'll give you an idea. why nuclear plants have not grown as fast in the U.S. I did a little bit of reading earlier, and I'll show you this, and we'll go back to this, but I think this is interesting. Here we go. Westinghouse Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Westinghouse made most of the energy components for nuclear energy facilities across the U.S. And now they just make TVs that have a 90-day warranty that you can get on Black Friday at Target. You know, if I go now, literally Westinghouse is known for TVs. It's like, oh look, this is what you get. You get the TVs with the Roku built in when you look for the Westinghouse TVs. You know, Westinghouse was, you know, on March 2017, parent company Toshiba placed Westinghouse Electric in Chapter 11 bankruptcy because of losses of its nuclear reactor construction projects. The projects responsible for the loss are mostly 4 reactors in Georgia and South Carolina. The government had given $18.3 billion in load guarantees. Other nuclear supplier General Electric has already scaled back its nuclear operations and is concerned about the viability of new nuclear. Again, this is an interesting bet. And again, power systems, defense, ITP Aero, and you'll see. Look, this is where they're losing money. All of their money right here is being lost in the civil aerospace division, but they're making more and more money on the power and the defense side of things. So in the defense side of things, they're saying, look, a challenging year. The COVID-19 pandemic has been driven. Airplanes are coming back up. They can't get the staff to fly them, but airplanes are coming back up. This whole statement will actually walk you through Rolls-Royce and exactly what's going on with the Rolls-Royce. We've taken a look at the small modular, and again, EU moves to label nuclear as green. But here's what I want to talk about now. I'm going to show you my Rolls-Royce stock, where I bought my Rolls-Royce stock, and we're going to look at some other options in the nuclear space, as well as a Morningstar report from Rolls-Royce. So I do want to take a look at that Morningstar report from Rolls-Royce. Oh, I'm on the screen there. Hold on. Okay, so Rolls-Royce. I'm going to jump into Robinhood right here. I've got 250 shares of Rolls-Royce right now. It's not a crazy amount of money, but it's something I've just started looking into, so you've still got some room to get on board. Rolls-Royce designs, develops, manufactures integrated power systems for use on air, land, and sea. And you can see all those different things that it does. If we do take a look at the chart over the last 5 years, you can see it's taken a dog doo-doo. It's taken a legit dog doo-doo in the past in the past 5 years. Hey, take it as you will. But I do have a bit in Rolls-Royce right now. And what I love about Robinhood, if you are subscribed to it, but you'll see overall, the analysts are saying buy, sell, or hold. Bulls say a leaner, more focused big business emerging from the corporate restructure will enable Rolls-Royce to compete more effectively. Higher contribution, high margin services revenue as the in-service fleet grows and ages. They're talking about airplanes and service contracts on airplanes. Again, that's where the money is now. When we're talking nuclear, we're looking a couple years in the future. But where the money is right now in Rolls-Royce is in airplane service contracts. New deliveries as they go down. That's what the bulls say. The bears say. The people think it's going to go down. Structural demand shifts to favoring narrow-body aircraft could have an impact on Rolls-Royce long-term prospects. Rolls-Royce faces highly uncertain recovery from COVID-19 as a result of its exposure to wide-body aircraft. They're not making what most aircraft use. But what I really love is I can look at a full report here. And if you have Robinhood, and if you have their Robinhood Gold, which gives you access to margin, you can take a look at this full report right here from Morningstar, which, again, I know some people like Morningstar, some people don't like Morningstar, as is life. But, it was battling disruptive, and they spun off a wing of their power generation. Their fair value is $1.60 per share. And what you'll see is, what's funny is it's actually right where their fair value actually is. The economic moat. It's hard to get into airplane manufacturing. It takes a lot of expertise and things like that. So they're saying, it's a little bit more difficult to get into here. Risk, uncertainty, mainly due to COVID and airlines keeping their planes for longer. Again, I don't think planes are going away, but they did shift away from the planes that a lot of people are using. So if we look right here, you'll see that we're at $1.65. Okay. And it was up yesterday, which was a big day where everything moved except for, everything moved. Let's be honest. Everything moved yesterday. We've got Rolls-Royce and we've got that 1.85%. So I think it's an interesting position in the nuclear space, and I do have to remember how to spell nuclear because I want to look at some other boys in the nuclear space. So let's go. N-E-U. Oh, wait. N-U-C-L-E-A-R. So these are some other players in the nuclear space. So this one's interesting. VanEck. VanEck is a fund company, and it tracks market cap weighted index of companies on the global nuclear energy industry. And you can get into all of these different companies that are playing in nuclear energy. So you know what? Cheap enough. I don't know if I want that much. Maybe buy 25 shares of that. This one probably doesn't move that much in a single day, so I can put that order in. I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning on January 4th. But I can put that order in right there. Let's look for anybody else you've heard of. I've heard of Brunker. Went down a lot today. So they do scientific instruments. Brunker Scientific. We're going to stay away from that. Therapeutics, Latinus, Entergy. Again, Robinhood's not the greatest way to search, but it is a way to search. Utility and energy segments include generation, transmission. Okay. Based out of New Orleans. You know what? I'm going to load my bags there. Seems a little weird. I will show you something interesting about some of these stocks, though, is that they do have higher margin requirements due to uncertainty. So let's just see. So this one does not have very high margin requirements, but if I were to take a look at some of the other ones that I just got into, the nuclear energy ETF, this one probably doesn't have insane margin requirements. But if I look at Rolls, so you'll see the margin requirements there, meaning you need 80% of the money in real cash to buy, and then 75% in maintenance, but Rolls-Royce has a 100% margin requirement. So you see, I've had my Rolls-Royce since November 11th. I haven't sold it. I'd like to add more over time. But I think this is very interesting. And I think nuclear is really interesting in the emerging power field. And I will tell you that my nuclear-powered coffee cup, it's kind of lukewarm now. My nuclear-powered coffee cup has kind of ceased to be because the temperature differential between the top and the bottom is not as much as it was when we started out there. But that's just a little look. I think nuclear, specifically small nuclear, is an extremely interesting field. I would love to hear your comments below. But the thing is, again, I always like to circle back to where we started. If we're circling back to where we started, we talked about electric cars are coming fast. It's the nation's grid up to it. Electric cars are coming. One of the most interesting videos that I have in my head, it's a new video idea I have in my head, is what the heck's going to happen to gas stations? Good question, right? What's going to happen to gas stations in the future? You know, electric cars, they're betting millions on new cars and trucks. Again, more places to plug in. That's where you've got ChargePoint, you've got Blink Energy, you've got all those others in that space. Again, these are kind of accessories to Tesla and Ford. So if you build up a bit of a fuel cell, plug power, you can actually get. Let's talk through this. I want to do a little bit more. If we talk through this, you know, you've got one of the biggest boys here is ChargePoint. ChargePoint went up 5% today. I don't have any right now, but you've got ChargePoint, which is an end user to plug in. You've got Blink, which is an end user you can plug in. Blink's actually based, I think, out of Miami, Florida. Yeah. So it's based right down here by me. You know, so that's more places to plug in. That kind of covers point number 1 of that article. We go to point number 2, generate more juice. FPL down here, Florida Power and Light, Next Era. Next Era Energy. They operate about Next Era Energy. They operate FPL and NEER primarily in generation, and they own Turkey Point. They own that nuclear power plant, which is one of the biggest in the U.S. You know what? I already have some. Let's see what I already have. I already have a little bit of a bag with it. But you know what? Let's buy more of a bag. Buy another 15 shares. Boom. You get into generating more juice. You're also talking about the nuclear, the nuclear space with all these other guys. Again, I know these aren't going to execute right now, but I'm okay with that. Juggle charging times. Again, that's a way of, talking about Tesla, talking about the other ones like that, talking about battery technologies, GAF. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if this is a public company. Let's dig real quick. Remember we were talking about the solar roof panels. They have a parent company. Let me see who their parent company is. Okay, but its parent company, building materials conglomerate Standard Industries. Let's say I wanted to get on that. I don't know if they're a public company. It doesn't look like it. No, they're not a public company. But the idea is that you can get in on a lot of these different... let me jump back to where I was. We can get in a lot of these different ones. Polymer, batteries. Let's jump back to here. Again, juggling those charging times is also about the power transmission and being able to make power at night. You can't make solar power at night. Designing a cleaner grid. Remember, in my opinion, again, my opinion, no one else's opinion, comments are open. I find nuclear energy to be green. I would strangely not have a problem with the next door neighbor being a nuclear power plant. I think there's no emissions, there's nothing like that. Now, remember, I think something I said I would come back and visit later on is, okay, you've got that nuclear power, you've got those spent rods, where do you put them? Well, you've got two differing opinions. The Republicans say they should go in California, and, the Democrats say they should go in Texas. So, why don't they both lose? We have Yucca Mountain, which if any of you know about Yucca Mountain, YUCCAMOUNTIN. Let's see. Yucca Mountain is a nuclear waste repository designed by the Nuclear Waste Act of 1987. But this is a little bit of a idea of Yucca Mountain. It's just where they store the nuclear power, and it looked like straight out of the Austin Powers movie where Mini-Me was doing that. But Yucca Mountain is a Nevada place where they store most of the spent fuel rods for nuclear right now. And there's plenty of room actually in Yucca Mountain. Another opportunity, and trust me, I'm never one to give up other opportunities. Hey, you could blast them to another planet if you wanted to. I know it might anger the aliens if they're real, but you can blast them to another planet. You could put them on islands in the middle of nowhere. Then global warming happens, the island floods, and the seas become nuclear powered, and whales grow two heads. I'm just saying, there's a lot of different ways to handle these spent nuclear fuel rods, like we were saying, that, you've dropped this little nuclear fuel rod. Now it's nuclear reactive, and you don't want to take a tour of the nuclear power plant. That's kind of a discussion for another time, but there are a lot of different things you can do with it. But I wanted to show you some options in the nuclear space, which I think the nuclear space is the only way that we're going to scale up electric vehicle charging anytime soon. That was a little overview, bit of a long overview, but I do like Rolls-Royce. I do like some of those other Next Era Energy and some of the other ones that are not afraid of nuclear power because, kind of like Nemo, fish are friends, not food. Nuclear power is a friend, not an enemy. Nuclear power is a friend, not an enemy. I do have the comments open below. I will put all of the links from the video in the comments. If you do have any questions, leave them below. This is Richard from No Pants Profits, reminding you that when you wear no pants, well then all you got left to lose is your shirt. See you around. Bye.